It seems like Poseidon rather quickly adopted to the patriarchal rule, choosing males to rule the 10 kingdoms of Atlantis rather than females. The story goes that at one point the firstborn within the ruling elite, those with the purest Aryan bloodline, was a female, and she was actually supposed to inherit the throne in one of the kingdoms. However, before she got the chance, her parents gave birth to a male baby, who then automatically became the successor of the throne. So, in spite of being Aryan and born from the Queen of the Stars, Enki Poseidon had become a true Sirian in nature in more than one ways. Poseidon was very strict with keeping the Aryan/Namliu bloodline as intact as possible when came to the ruling elite. Only the offspring of his own 10 hybrid sons were to rule in Atlantis. Poseidon himself intentionally took a human wife of the Aryan Lu bloodline and created a hybrid, mostly Aryan blood, and the rest with a lot of Lu DNA and a little bit of Sirian. But it was the dominant Aryan blood, which ran through the veins of the manipulated, shorter Neanderthals, who had the most powerful fire of all the humans in the Atlantean kingdoms. So his sons, who were the first-generation super-enhanced humans, enhanced Project Elohim, having much more Aryan blood, then took spouses amongst the most capable of the existing human hybrids. This way, Poseidon was hoping he could eventually achieve his goal to create a global event in the far future, where he and his Sirian allies could feed off the KHAAenergy from all enhanced humans in the world and use this to gain power in the KHAAA Realm, the universe of the Mother Goddess. This is also why Poseidon, the god of the ocean, spent so much of his time under the ocean floor. He continued his genetic experiments there. Many researchers has it correct and dedicate Atlantis to the reptilian, Aryan bloodline, but without understanding the dynamics behind it all. It gets confusing for most people who try to research this as long as they don't realize that EA was not a Sirian, but born in Orion, and therefore an Aryan. They see references to the Aryan reptilian bloodline when they trace this back, and accuse the whole Orion Empire for something one Aryan did, namely Prince EA. There were other Aryans involved, such as Enlil's consort, Ninlil, but EA was the one being from Orion who did all the work which eventually led up to the scenario we are facing today. Other than that, researchers like Davidic has found correct information but makes the same mistake as everybody else. I still think he has done a lot of good research on our human past, and in many cases is right on target. Here he makes the connection between Atlantis and Orion. The Minoan civilization on Crete, part of the Sumer Empire, was another serpent bull culture. They called its line of Aryan kings the sons of the serpent goddess. Because, once again, the Aryan line is the purest of the reptilian hybrids. These were the serpent kings who ruled Atlantis and the later Sumer Empire. Ancient Crete, as with other connected centers, was famous for its labyrinth, a word meaning, house of the double axe, or house of the serpent goddess. So here Ik is telling us the same thing, the Aryan bloodline is the purest of the reptilian hybrids, humans. The reptilians, in this case, are those who adapted the matriarch, which is the serpent kundalini, the female energy. Ik is basically repeating what EA himself thought, and how he wanted humans to evolve. Enlil and his Sirian overlords didn't mind that Project Elohim consisted of mainly Aryan blood as long as they could create the effect that was necessary for the Sirians to take advantage of it. The planet Venus was apparently of importance both to the Atlanteans and the Lemurians when the matriarchs built temples. Reverend Dr. Robert Ghost Wolf writes, "It is interesting to note that wherever these KHAAA priests of the dragon lords born of Lemurian and Atlantean cultures, they built temples aligned with our sister planet Venus, the bright and morning star, and the planet itself became associated with saviors and the immortals." EA is considered being Lucifer by many, including this author, in the Bible referred to as the morning star, another name for Venus. Does Venus have anything to do with Sirian plans, involving us in our future ascension? Some organizations who are working behind the scenes today say that indeed it does, and that humankind will find out about it on a broader scale before the end of the year 2012. The Sirians are allegedly involved in this supposed event, which is said to be just around the corner. Venus also plays a leading spiritual role in many North and South American Indian cultures. Interestingly enough, something Dr. Ghost Wolf also emphasizes.